Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again at From Pain Point to On Point. Today, I have my guest with me, Ole-Arvid Liodden. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Very good.
So exciting. Sales coach from Norway. We're going to have a really great conversation. We've already had such a good conversation prior to this off the record. So I know that we're going to have a good one on the record. But Ula, I'm going to pass over to you and I'm going to ask for a little bit of a background for our listeners and our watchers, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Rit. So nice to talk
Yeah.
with you and chat with you as well. To introduce myself, I normally call myself or kind of identify myself with a salesman with a big S, and I'm proud of it. It's even better in Norway because proud means stolt and it's the same. So it's a
And
triple
it's the
S.
same.
Yeah, and I know that other people think it's kind of sales could be like shameful or like you have a
Mm,
lot of different things to it. Uh,
yeah.
but I don't, because I think sales is the most beautiful things we can do if you do it like real sales and not like
Hmm.
product pushing or something like that, but really understand the depth of what sales actually are and where it comes from and how to actually perform it without being this pushy that most people are afraid of being and most people resent of being exploited for. So yeah. So my introduction to sales I had like at least like 40 years ago almost, when I was a younger boy in the small city outside Oslo that I came from. My mother once come and told me, "Oh, I get a job for you, Ole." Okay, then what have you done now, mother? No, I got me a sales job, knocking doors, selling flowers on doors to people. And you have like once a week you go out sell flowers to people. So I thought,
Nice
yeah,
first
okay,
job.
yes, that's a nice first job. Not because I was so happy with flowers, but I enjoyed money and earning my own salary. So it was a great experience after studying and have my first, I would say, real job after I took my master. It was in Oracle applications, and I
Oh,
was a consultant. So I teach people Oracle applications. But then I saw these small little things, and it was always the sales department, sales rep that was clapping, hurrying celebrations on all the parties in the intranet that time. And I was
yeah.
kind of not like, but look at them. They get all the guts and glory, but then we have to clean up their mess. So I felt, okay, uh, that's my new vocation. I want to be a sales rep. So that was 26 years ago now. So then I started, and it started with the sales of software as a service. And then it's been a lot of sales positions and going all the steps until I started by myself in my own company like 13 years ago or something. So now I have like a lot of companies in the Nordic regions, mostly in Norway, of course, training people in real sales, I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things in there that I think are worthy of unpacking. I mean, I love that you saw the sales team having a great time and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do that. It's so real. And I think it just speaks to the power of recognition just in general, which is something that we talk a lot about at Sales Screen. But I also want to talk to you about this idea of real sales and what you mean by that. And so I'd love to kind of dig into what that means to you and get an understanding of your philosophy on sales and also how you apply it to sales coaching.
Yeah. We can do the big stretch in the beginning, and then we
Yeah.
can come back to it
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I
Perfect.
love this. It's kind of controversial, maybe, and maybe even polarizing. So I say,
Sure.
yeah, and
Yeah.
take a deep breath and just feel it because because real sales, that is love in action.
Mhm.
That is that's caring. Is caring about other people, is caring about your client, not words, not something you say, but it actually mean it. You want to improve the life or the experience for your clients some way or another. So it's about coming from here and not from here to actually help and to serve. And I know that all people would agree on me that sales is about helping and serving and make
Sure.
like improvements, but it's a big difference of saying it and phrasing it and writing it and agreeing on it and actually live it. So it's a big difference. So it means that sometimes you have to say no, sometimes it's not the right fit. And it has to really means that you really have to understand to see if you're the right fit for your clients and to come from that within you.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's something that we think about a lot is kind of positioning sales almost as like a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So coming in and being able to speak to your prospects and really understand and therefore diagnose the
Yeah.
issues that they're having. And like any good doctor, you're not just going to prescribe them the same thing over and over and over again just because that's what you have available. The point really is to understand the pain and see if you are able to solve that pain. I completely agree that the idea of real sales is rooted in care for your customer and wanting to actually solve their problems in a real way.
Yeah. And it's actually much deeper than just the theoretical and like words, because I said everybody's agreeing on that. Sales and service is pretty much the same as management and leadership as well. Is about caring for other people and actually show it and help them to serve them and improve no matter what you're selling, right? But this is
Yeah.
even beyond like a philosophy. Is physical, but most people haven't seen the physical evidence of it. So I often
Yeah.
show when I have workshops and stuff like that, ask, do you know that your thoughts and emotions are electromagnetic? And yeah, maybe I heard that this is energy and it's electrical, and we have this field around us, and people can feel our energy and our vibe if we are kind of magnetic or rejecting. But I have these magnets that I normally shows. So if I come from my minus, my lack, I need to have my salary or my bonus or to reach my KPIs, or I have to need some things from my boss who wants to clap me on my shoulders and say how good I am. So I have a lack, so I come from my minus.
Yeah.
And then I have a client that also have some needs, some wishes that something could be better. And if I come from this when I'm booking the sales meeting or I'm in the meeting or I'm presenting my offer or whatever, what happens to a minus and minus?
They
They
reject.
reflect each other. It's impossible to fit, actually. It's impossible. In mathematics, minus and minus is plus, but not in sales. So
Yeah.
it
Enough.
has to be turned the other way around, that you actually are there to help and to serve, and you mean it, because then you have turned these polarities, right? Here plus, you're actually there to give, to serve, and you mean it, and then they have some needs, some lack, some minus, something that can be improved, boom, is like this. And here in the interference between plus and minus, here is new creation, like creating a new relationship.
This is really interesting, and I guess my next question is, I think you said it earlier, right? It's very easy to say theoretically sales is about caring and is about helping your customer, but putting that in practice and in action is significantly harder. So when
Yeah.
you are a sales rep and you are beholden to your numbers, you're beholden to your targets, you have deadlines, you have pipeline you have to fill, all of these pressures, right, that create that lack, that create that minus, that give you
Yeah.
that kind of scarcity mindset that's making you want to pressure a connection. How do you approach that? How do you help sales reps and also sales leaders get out of that mindset and put that theory, that caring sales is about caring sales is about love theory into action and into practice?
Mm, a very good question. I think the answer, a lot of people with, yeah, they think that sounds fair, but a lot of people, are you sure? So I have thought, I don't know, but hundreds, maybe thousands of salespeople to stop and just breathe, because this
Mm,
this 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 mindset you said of scarcity is because we are in our ego mind that I need something, and that
mhm.
there I come from this scarcity mindset, and this is quite natural in this world we are living that seems quite crazy. And the most easy way to actually balance this is to stop and just take 3, 4, 5 deep breath and just reconnect with ourselves. So that's the first part. Stop, take some deep breathing, and get out
Yeah.
of your survival mode and turn on your inspiration and be playful and inspired and be there for other people. Because if I have scarcity, I'm a very bad sales rep. I say the ego is one of the worst sales reps in the world, while
Yeah.
inspiration is one of the best sales beings in the world, right? So get out of your ego scarcity minds, and the easiest way to do that is through breathing.
Is it as simple as that? I wonder because it's, if you're a salesperson and I mean, my salespeople are on calls all day long, right? So they're constantly picking up the phone. How do you kind of manage being in your body, which I love,
Yeah.
and also this need to like hit a target?
Yeah. And of course, it is not only that, but that's the first thing. Reconnect with yourself. So that's the first thing. Not only the first thing, it's also the last thing, and that's everything. You have to reconnect with yourself during the day, and remind yourself, what am I doing here? Who am I here for? So what I've done a lot as well is to help people to find out what's the real value I'm giving to these clients, and maybe ask questions. For myself, I reflect a lot. I have a lot of books around everywhere I'm going, and to
Hmm.
really ask questions to myself: what is the real value I'm giving to my clients today? And
Hmm.
just stop for a second and start noticing, what am I doing for my clients?
Hmm.
Sales screen, for instance, you do a lot of beautiful and important things for your, because what we see, what we measure, that's a part of us. So a lot of things you are
Yeah.
doing are important. You can dig as deep as you can to see what's the real value behind your service, not your product, not your offering, but the actual value that your clients actually will experience if they buy from you. And when you
Hmm.
write this down, 5, 10, 15 real things that your clients will achieve when buying from you, and you start your day when you're doing calls. I even have taught people to write that in a big, a big letter, and put it on the floor, and actually go into that energy. Step into that energy of what you're giving and serving, and you do your calls from that energy. And I say you have seen it yourself, I'm sure a bit, that the same two salespeople with the same product, the same manager, the same client group can have like 2, 3, 4, 5 times difference in their sales and in their hit rate on cold callings, for instance.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What's the difference? Is the energy they
Yeah.
are calling from? Is the energy where they're doing the meetings from? Is the energy from where they're presenting their offer?
We've kind of talked about how ego is the worst salesperson, right? And I totally agree. I think that a lot of the times our ego really does um, trip us up. But what
Yes,
about the
a lot.
Yeah, right? But there have
Yeah.
definitely been times in which I've seen salespeople who absolutely sell with their ego and are successful. So how do you kind of navigate the the customers that are really attracted to that kind of like salesperson bravado? Sometimes being in sales seems like a bad thing. And I think it's because of that ego. But I think because of that, we kind of have trained customers to see that and recognize that and think of it as, oh, this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. How do you kind of navigate that personality type, if you will?
Yeah, because this is not only this side or this side.
Mm.
The answer is in the combination, right? Not only the ego, not only the mindset of serving, because it's like the balancing between the two of them, right? So we have to
Hmm.
use this, but this should not be the master. This should be more like the servant, joining the sales meetings, the sales calls, the everything. So when I was younger, just for fun, I like to play with this and have fun with this, because if it's not funny, it's not. There's no needing to do it neither. So it has to be fun, and it has
Yeah.
to be playful, because I'm in my mid-50s, and if I can't play with it, if I can't have fun with it, I don't bother to do it anymore. And it has to be joyful. And I think joy and playfulness is really attracting energy as well. And even if you are salespeople, because the opposite, like being adulterated, is quite boring. So I think
Yeah.
And a lot of when I started as I was too serious, I was too adulterated, and it has to be too serious, and I didn't sell that much. But the older I get, the less I need recognition from other people. But I really dare be myself. The less and less attached I'm to other people's opinion about me, the more I sell. That's the way of the energy and how it works, right? So, but we have to connect with both of them. So I'm not saying that we only have to come from here, but we have to reconnect here, because most of the time we are here already. So it has to join, to have this to join as well. And then it has to be there, and actually being there, curious, aware, actually see the client and understand the client and ask the right questions to the client. So we understand before we get understood. So it's more like the order of things.
Yeah. There is still a structure to the way that you would approach.
100% a structure. Like a
Okay.
rest, I'll say there are no face it in sales, but there are some things that's smarter to do than others. So it has
Hmm.
like a recipe. If you're going to create a beautiful cake or a meal, you have a recipe, and sales, you need the same. Is a recipe with some things you have to put in the cake to have a really good cake.
Yeah. So would you say that when you're talking to sales leaders and when you're having coaching sessions, ego and the scarcity mindset, like those are kind of the biggest issues that you see among sales leaders?
Yeah. And they ask too few questions.
Yeah.
And
Do you
they
mean that in like a do you mean that in a discovery sense with a customer, or do you just mean in a general sense? Give me a little bit
uh,
more on that
in general sense.
in a general sense. Yeah, fair enough.
Are you curious? Are you curious? Yes, I'm curious. Of course, I'm curious. Okay, how many questions have you asked today? About yourself, about life, about this day, about what you want, about who you are? How many questions have you asked today? That means it's not, you can't say, I'm curious. The real answer is in the reality.
Yeah.
Go to the reality and check with reality. How many questions have you asked today? So I have the management coaching today, like 3 sales leaders, directors, sales managers, 4 actually.
Mhm.
And we had like a beautiful session, 2-3 hour sessions. And they were kind of frustrated that we have like a 2-day kickoff, and we have set some goals and breakthrough goals. And they can see some improvements in their team, but they want them to take even more action. And they don't understand why. Because they have told them what to do. Okay, so you have told them. Ah. Have you asked them then? Oh. So sometimes it's very easy to forget, because we am so certain that I am right and you are wrong, and this is my way or no way. So please do what I say.
So there's a certain level of autonomy that you think sales reps need to have in order to be successful because they need to be able to break out of what's being told to them.
Yeah, there is very, very nice to becoming older and wiser. So you see that I don't need that much by myself, so I can actually help and serve more, and I get experienced how to do sales meeting, for instance, and then it's easier, right? But the one thing that's important, no matter of age or experience, is actually I need a goal, or I need something like a burning desire for something, or there is like what's in it for me at the end here, right?
Mhm.
So like the best salespeople I meet, they have like a burning passion for what they are doing. Either it's for sales, or if it's for clients, or for the solution they are selling, or something like that. But it has to come from within. Like
Mhm.
this burning desire here somewhere, because they find it fun, they find it joyful. They do it not because their manager or their boss told them to do it, but because they feel natural for them, and they find joy by doing it. Maybe the word inspiration then. Inspiration, like be inspired and taking inspired action. Or if that's to pick up the phone and book a sales meeting, or if it's go into the sales meeting and actually kind of following this easy recipe, because the recipe is very, very easy. And if you follow it, you will increase your sales. I know.
Yeah.
You need like thousands.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really agree. I mean, in any job, if you love what you do or if there's something about what you do
Yeah.
that really speaks to you, whether you love the solution that you're selling, or you love your team, or you love your company, or whatever it is. Um, it's going to warrant a better results just in general, whether you're in sales or in any other position. What's like one practical daily habit that you would suggest for a salesperson to take on to improve their results?
I have for myself, I have this message to myself that pops up after lunch. Who have you invited today? Is the question to myself.
Mhm.
Because I see not book sales meetings, stop booking sales meeting, invite people to see possibilities, invite people to have a meeting with you and discuss a solution that can improve themselves. And the energy changed for me when I stopped booking meetings, but I invited people to look at possibilities instead. Something shifted in me, and I think my outer world shifted as well when I started to invite. So that's why I say, who have you invited today? And actually, what have you invited them to?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is so interesting. It is so based in mindset, and I love this approach. It feels really fresh, and it also feels like something that anybody can implement at any time. My questions center around, for instance, Sales Screen is a SaaS company, right? So we get a lot of people that come to Sales Screen looking for demos or looking to get a meeting, take a meeting with one of our salespeople, and they've done so much research.
Yeah.
That's just where we're at right now. People have so much access, and they've kind of already bought in their brain, right, before they even ever get to you. So how does this mindset shift? How does this philosophy of work when you're dealing with people that are coming to you and maybe are even just doing like the due diligence of I already know that I want to buy this person, but I'm just going to take this meeting with you to mark it off my list.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I just came from a meeting like that this
Ah,
afternoon. Yes.
great.
Yeah.
You made the sale. I have no doubt.
The same way as always. But here is the process then. For me, this is just my philosophy, but it's my philosophy, and I teach this to my clients and the people that are interested in living that way. The story today was that this client of mine that I have had for like 6 months. We had done both with the management team and the sales reps. We did
Mhm,
kickoff in January. We put sales goals, and we have like 2 sales training sessions last year, and we are going to have another sales training session in later on in February. And today, another part of that company, the customer service and the logistic department director, I had a meeting with them because that was set up because they had checked me out and they had got references from rest of the company that have used me already. So it's kind of the
mhm,
same. They had to have done the due diligence, and there were 2 people, the customer service manager and the customer service director or something like that, right?
mhm,
So I
mhm,
could then just jump in and say, yeah, maybe you can tell us how you can help us. 10 years ago, I would just jump to that mistakes and go into that conclusion and start telling and showing and presenting what I could do.
mhm, mhm.
I told nothing.
Yeah. You got to ask questions, right?
I,
You've got to
I
be
stopped.
curious.
I stopped. Took a deep breath like I always do, and I start asking them questions. We had a presentation round, and I asked them about. So here is 2 pages
Yeah.
of notes from this meeting today. Even though I hadn't met them before, they haven't met me before, but they knew who I was, and I asked them all these questions about their current situations, what they found difficult today, the cost of that, how they want the situation, how they wanted it to look in the future, how this could look like if they could decide by themselves, the decision making process, when in the future, and all this stuff. And then they say, yeah, so okay, that's very interesting. And I really found out what they really wanted. So we
Yeah.
put that in here, the number 1 star, the result that they wanted, not like the
Mhm,
feeling of having sales screen because it's nice to measure, or no, nothing like that. No, it's very good to see and have this pling pling every time we have a. Yeah, but what do you really want to see? What's the difference? How would it feel in the group or in the team if we have done this correctly? What's the result of this has been a success? So that's the number 1 reason, and I have like 4 number 1 reasons.
Of course, because there's always more than one number one reason.
Yeah. So then I have all these scriptures out, what they wanted, why they wanted it, and how it will look, how it will feel, and to see this on the long run as well. So I'm not like
Hmm.
one session, but like working together for years. And then they asked, okay, that's very good. It was almost like this, Britt. They said, okay, that sounds very good. Can you send us an offer or?
You didn't even have to sell them. They just
No,
asked
no.
for it.
But what did I say then? That's I find it very interesting to ask you. What do you think I said when I said, "Oh, can you send us an offer?"
I feel like I would want to know what they want. Like I would want them to send what
They
they
have
want.
told me. They have told me. I have two pages with what they want. So they have told me what they want. Can you send
Hmm.
us an offer?
I mean, yes. My answer
Oh.
would be yes, but I'm not
No,
a
no,
salesperson. Well,
no, 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 no.
salesperson that's like, yes, absolutely. Here's the contract. Sign it
Yeah, no, no,
immediately.
no. I think that's 80% of all salespeople in the world would do that. And when I was younger, I lost so much sales on doing that mistake because that's a big, big mistake.
Okay, so then what's the right move? You've gotten them in, you've asked all of the questions. I want to go back to that as well. I want to go back to kind of discovery, but you've
Yeah,
asked all of the questions, you've gotten their four number one things that they need to,
yeah.
their four number one results that they need. They're in, they're bought, they want the contract,
Yes.
and then
And then,
and then
and then,
no contract? They don't.
patience, patience to build up even more momentum. So I said, you know what? I would love to create a solution for you. So when can we go through that together? Is Friday the 3rd, because my week is quite busy and next week as well. So Friday the 13th is the first time available for me during daytime. So I said, Friday the 13th, is that a good day? Oh, no, sorry, I'm on vacation that day. Okay, the week after, Monday or Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Tuesday the 15th, 17th, or all these. Okay.
Yeah,
So we the time, and then ask, can you send an invite? So I asked the client to send me an invite, so we all have it in our calendar, and then we have a new meeting where I will present my solution.
very nice. If we're flipping the way that we approach sales and approach our solution to our customers, we're not providing solutions in those conversations necessarily. To your point, all of it is about curiosity and discovery. Would you say discovery is the most important part of this sales process?
100%. You know, I always refer to this guy, even though I don't know him, but the 7 habits of highly effective people, like this book says, you have to understand before you get understood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to understand before you get understood. And that's about discovery. And that's actually to be curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just makes so much sense to get as much information as you possibly can and walk through that solution with them.
Yeah.
They're coming in, they have an idea of what their problem is. You hear that idea, you pitch your solution. They're kind of like, okay, yeah, that sounds like it could work. That sounds like that's hitting my pains. Maybe you've sold them. They're like, all right, let's get into procurement, let's get into negotiations and contracts and all of that. And if you go that route, if you go kind of like a traditional sales route, that's kind of where things can start to drop off.
They have some expectations, they have some beliefs, they have some truth, they have some like experiences. So
Hmm.
they are vibrating here. They have checked you. This is my reality. This is their reality. Here is the gap.
Yeah.
This is the gap. Mind the gap. So when we are doing this, actually balancing out that gap. So now I will use, actually you said, should we speak a little bit about AI as well? Yeah, here is AI a perfect tool, because now I was myself mindful in the meeting, curious about them. We laughed a lot. We had a really beautiful meeting, and we had a handshake, almost a hug when we was done. And then I go back home and I have my solution, my offering, how I present it, like I have a template for doing it. But now I can take picture with my AI about this, and AI AI can help me use the same words as they have used. So now we have resonance. When I meet them again, they have resonance. Now I can present 100% exactly what we have talked about today. If I've been doing it today, I would have missed. And they would have their own opinions, their own meanings, their own beliefs, their own assumptions, right? And for me to hit, like, okay, sometimes, but not always. But when I do this,
Yeah.
I hit much, much more often.
It's funny because it is kind of, it's the way that sales should be, right? This approach it's counter sales processes now, but it is actually exactly how it should be. Another question that I have is when you're talking to sales leaders and you're in sales coaching, do you ever promote anything like a med pick or a spiced framework or any of those like typical sales frameworks on how to approach? Is that something that you
Yeah, you could do that.
ever leverage?
Is about the order. Is about the
Mm,
order of all things, right? So it's when is that natural to do? And why should you do it, right? Because when you're
yeah.
doing like this, you see the client, you hear the client, you're interested in the client tells you how their world, how their everyday life, how their experience will improve, and the value of it, why the sales screen, for instance, in this case, will make their work days or their sales or whatever better. And then you have to use everything you need to use to actually show it to them and to give them this experience and to actually, if they can smell it, touch it, breathe it, taste it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
experience it, wow, then it's, of course, but it's about the order of things.
Mm, yeah.
This, I could do like days with only this simple little twist about sales. Never, ever, never send an offer again to your clients ever without have booked the time for going through it.
To go through it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it makes so much sense, especially when we're buying technology, when we're buying software. Or, I mean, honestly, and yeah,
In
it doesn't have to
general,
be
I
software.
have
It's yeah, just in
banking, I have
general.
finance, I have insurance, I have software, I have office compliances, I have everything. All of the clients I meet are doing this mistake that they get ghosted, because they go into a meeting and they find a good relationship, and then they are sending an offer, and then they are waiting for the clients to reply. Or if they don't reply, they start chasing and calling, and the client doesn't answer, and they start spinning all the histories in the world or why it's not happening. That's because you haven't done your homework. You haven't
Well,
asked
and
the
I
right.
also think what's so interesting about this too, and what I think is really great about having a meeting where you're going to reinforce the solution and like walking through the solution is that you get the opportunity to again hit on the pain. This is the reason why I'm saying this, right? Like we're building this out for you, and this is the reason why we're building it out for you. And it's not because this is the platform or this is the package or this is the offering. It's because this speaks to this pain point that I understand. Like I deeply understand your pain point, and because of that, I've given you something, maybe not bespoke, but I've given you something that is going to speak to all of those pain points and solve all of those pains for you. And
Yeah.
I think that if you allow somebody to make those connections on their own, especially if they're not well versed in your offering, they're not going to make those connections on their own. And then it's just going to be like, well, wait, why this? Why is this happening? What is this thing? You're not there to be able to reinforce this is the reason why all of these things are here.
Yeah. And we have a lot of meanings about things we don't understand that we haven't tried or experienced yet. So there's a lot of meaning, like there will be internal discussions, both in the mind or head of the receiver and in the group of the decisions makers at the client side. Just be there and see the face expression, be in the energy to could answer the question immediately, and to actually be there with the whole you. Most people are agreeing that this is smart, but it could take, like, I have clients that I've been working with for almost 1 year, not every week, of course, but a year. before the first time they hear this, it's implemented, and then they start seeing the results. The hit rate increases.
What is the biggest hurdle in terms of implementation
Fair,
for this?
fair, and autopilot and fair, and not being logged on, unconscious. I'm unconscious. I'm unaware. My monkey in my mind is just repeating what I've always done. Unfair. Because you could reject me if I ask this, Brit. Should we take, okay, you know what? If you ask me, could you send me an offer? And I say, I would love to create an offer for you. So when can we go through it? You could reject me, right? And that's their biggest fear of all, being rejected. So it's also fear involved there.
What is the first thing that you would tell a sales leader who's trying to implement this type of change on their team? What's kind of like the first step that they need to take as a team lead to instill this mentality onto their team?
To have their sales rep and the whole team and organization to really understand in depth the value they are giving to their clients. Because if I really believe that I have value, it's not about me. I'm not afraid of being rejected, and I'm not afraid of actually being there to be in service. I'm not afraid to ask questions, even questions about money, about decision making and stuff like that, because I know in my bone and in my heart that this has benefits for you.
Yep.
But everybody has to own it.
Yeah.
And owning is not only in the head, it's in the body.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a perfect ending. What a perfect end to this
You
conversation.
have
That
just
was well, I'm going to have you back on the podcast again. So don't you think that this is the last time
okay,
that we're going to
okay,
have
then
this?
okay.
No, we're going to have
If you will invite me back, it's okay.
you're always welcome back to the podcast. This was such a great conversation. I love these insights. This is the way that sales needs to be thinking moving forward. And I completely agree that this is getting rid of the ego and selling with care for your customer
Yeah.
is the only way to move forward, especially now in 2026 when we're seeing so much AI, we're seeing so many of our sales roles kind of being outsourced to computers and to bots and
We have to be even more humans than ever, because that's the most attractive we can be. I just have to add as well, Britt, this sounds maybe very simple, but the simplicity is the real power in this.
it sounds very simple, but to your point, it's not simple to implement.
No.
I think that there's so much
Mm.
pressure on sales today, and it feels like it's even more intense than it's ever been. I think the fear is very real, and it's not easy to overcome.
No, not at all. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So, thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
being on the podcast. You'll be back again
I hope so.
soon. I have
Yes.
no doubt.
That's good.
Amazing. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Willa.
Thank
Mhm.
you.